Hello everyone, thank you so much for checking in. If you are new here, my name is Ashley with Ashley's Reads on Twitter or Fiction and Fantasy on Instagram and TikTok, and today I am here to tell you about my December TBR. December is my second favorite month of the year because I am a summer child, so June takes first always. But I love Christmas, I love holiday spirit, and I just can't stop smiling. I'm so full of joy, and I am so excited because this month I get to take part in 3 readathons. They're all different lengths of time, so it's helped me to be able to kind of organize in my brain which one I'm doing at which time. So I'm very excited for that. And I'm going to list those, talk a little bit about how excited I am for my props, and then we'll get into the books. I have very few of them in physical format this month because a lot of them were ARCs or books that were like, I don't know if they're self-published, but my libraries don't have them, and I typically read library books when they're physical or unless I got them from my used bookstore. Most of these are going to be ebooks. Okay, so the first readathon that I'm taking part in is one that I already talked about in my November TBR. That is the Clear Your Shit readathon that takes place from November through December. And for this one, last year I think there's 24 prompts, and I picked a book for every single prompt and then just picked books off of that. I generally read around 5 books a month. I think when Michael was gone I was averaging out closer to 10, but now that he's here I do not have as much free time. So I this time picked books off of my other TBRs, and as soon as I read one I would put it for as many prompts as it would count for, because you can double up in that readathon. You can double up in 2 of the 3 readathons, so that's worked out really well for me. So for that one, what I did for my December TBR is every prompt that I have not filled so far, or the like TBA prompts for the mystery battles that we don't have the prompts for yet, those ones will be on my December TBR. And that's basically it. Then I'm done with that readathon. There are actually very few prompts that I have left for that one, so I'm very excited. And then the next one that I'm taking part in is the Reindeer Read-A-Thon, which is why I'm filming this on the 30th instead of earlier, because I ordered this Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer makeup collection, which I am wearing right now, and I forgot to do my eyebrows, and I'm very blonde, so if I look bald, if I look like I don't have eyebrows on, I'm sorry, but I really like it. I think my first Vlogmas video is me not wearing my makeup yet, in my sweatpants, opening this package and telling you about how much I love Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and I forgot to film an intro, so we'll figure that out later, but that will be my first Vlogmas video. And then I also have, I'm wearing one of them, but I wanted to show you guys this one before I put it in my ear. These little reindeer earrings that I think I got from my dad, so thanks Dad if you ever watch these. Oh, nope, I already have one in that ear. So I am very, very excited to take part in this readathon. It is my second time doing that readathon and the Clear Your Shit readathon. And for that one, there are prompts based on the different reindeer from Santa's sleigh team. And this year I was randomized onto Team Stalking, and it's very, very fun to just get an email being like, congratulations, you have been accepted onto this team, and it makes me feel so official. And I've already met a bunch of my Team Stalking teammates, but I'm so excited to take part. And last year I was Team Nutcracker though, so love you guys too if that's still a team. So there's that one, and that one lasts for all of December. And then finally, I am co-hosting a week-long readathon that is called the Fa-La-La-Thon. I think there's 3 laws. And I am doing this one. This one is from December 12th through the 19th, and our handle on Twitter is the Fa-La-La-Thon, and I'll link it below, don't worry. And this one, the idea came from Lauren Rathgens, I believe, on Twitter, but again, I will link her down below. And we have a bunch of really amazing leaders, and I'm so excited to be in this readathon with them and to have gotten to help in any way. I am so excited to host with them, and there are quite a few of us, so again, I will be listing all of them down below. You should absolutely check out their videos. I think most of them have their TBRs up. My leadership skill is always being the last one to post a TBR video, so it's my thing now. Also, the fact that I get to co-host readathons with you guys is like beyond amazing. It makes me feel so happy. I'm grateful to have made all of these amazing bookish friends, and I'm so happy. I already said that, but I'm still so happy. But where was I? So that one's a week long. I have doubled up so much because I'm gonna read like one book for that readathon. So yeah, I think that's all the readathons. I think that's all the pertinent info. A quick note, I will sort of be doing Vlogmas / Bookmas in that I will try and post and film more frequently, but do not expect me to post videos every day. You will be greatly disappointed. Maybe I'll post 2 videos a week instead of 1. So let's get into the books. Oh, I also wanted to show off my little octopus. It's one of those reversible ones. I got it from Books A Million and I adore it. I use it on Michael all the time. Okay, I did not write down a list for the books, but I have my December TBR on my iPad. So let's pull up Google Docs. We'll go through the Clear Your Shit ones first because that is the readathon that's already going on. You're going to hear about this book a lot because, oh no, I meant to light this candle. Okay, you're going to hear about this book a lot and you're going to be like, wow, Ashley, you must love this book so much. That's not the case at all. I have no idea what the book is about, but it's very, very short. So I want a relaxing holiday. So the first book that I will be reading is for the prompt shortest book. So I interpreted this as the least amount of pages. And for this one, I will be reading Stranded by Sj Herman. This one follows a family. I think it's like 2 parents and 2 kids. And I think the parents are getting a divorce. And then there is some sort of holiday emergency that happens. I swear this was a Lifetime movie. But basically they get stuck in like an ice cave or something, and they have, it's like forced proximity, and I'm assuming that the parents decide to stay together and fall back in love and not get a divorce before they die. It's like 60 pages, so I'm not sure how all of that is going to happen, and I will become attached to the characters in a short amount of time. But it was free on Amazon, and I have had this book for over a year at least. So I'm glad to finally read it. The second book is for a mini boss battle, and this one I believe was based on our strengths, and I think my strength is that I'm thrifty and I typically read secondhand / used books or borrow books from the library, and so mine was to read a secondhand book. And so for this prompt, I will be reading The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. Almost every physical copy that I have of my books for December are all read. So I am loving that. Thank you so much to the book gods who made these all read. I know that this is dystopian fiction and it's kind of like, not The Village, it's like The Village. Basically, the main character is like a handmaid and she is supposed to, I think she's supposed to have children for the family because I think that most of society is infertile. I'm not 100% sure at all, but this was the book club pick, the April book club pick for the Shelf This Book Club, which is hosted by Bailey, and this is Martine's book pick. I'm very excited to read this one, and that's all that I know about it. The next one is a free book space, and for this one, oh, I actually already started this book. It is A Realm of Ash and Shadow by my friend Laura, and this is a beta read, and I am so excited because Laura and I have almost the exact same taste in books, so I'm very, very happy to get to read this book. I tried not to know anything about books ever going into it, but what I know so far is that it's about a princess who is growing up in like the human realm, and she now has to return to her realm, which is kind of like the guardians of all of the realms. And that is all that I know so far. And I did a really terrible description, but it's been a very interesting book. I'm 10% in and I'm already really enjoying it, which is saying a lot because normally I don't enjoy books until like 30% of the way in. The next one is To Read a Book with a Purple Cover. And for this one, I will be reading She Wouldn't Change a Thing by Sarah Adlakha. And this book follows, okay, I have now changed my battery and my SD card. Hopefully everything was saved because I already lost some of this video. But we have Christmas spirit, it's gonna be okay. She Wouldn't Change a Thing gives me the vibes of that Christmas movie, The Family Man by Nicolas Cage, where he has like 2 kids and he just feels really overwhelmed and is kind of wishing that it wasn't the life he had, and so he ends up in a different life. So with this one, we follow a woman whose name I do not know. And she has 2 kids, I believe, with a 3rd one on the way. And she is also working as a therapist, and she's just really overwhelmed and is tired of changing diapers, that kind of vibe. Really wants a break from being a mother. And so she goes to work, and this other woman comes in and starts telling her things about her life that no one else would possibly know. And she tells her that she is from the past? No, she's from the future, and that she is going to basically save this woman's life or change it for the better. So she tells her there's something really important that she needs to do, and she tells her what that task / mission is. And then the very next day, that woman is found dead with like a letter left for the main character. So I think she ends up going back into the past. So I think this is kind of like a sci-fi-ish, like what is it? Is that called like magical realism? Maybe. That's all that I really know about it. The next one, there is a second mini boss battle, which I assume will be based on our weaknesses. And I think my weakness is that I don't break TBRs. I can't remember what my weakness is for this game. So I assume my prompt will be based on that. The next one is to read a book where it involves water. So for this one, I will be reading Lakesedge by Lyndall Clipstone. So I picked this one because it is a lush Gothic fantasy, and it is set at a cursed / haunted lake and a lake house on the lake, I believe. So I figured that was perfect. And you're probably thinking like, Ashley, a lot of these are pretty dark. And for some reason, ever since I read House of Salt and Sorrows for 2 Christmases ago, that really spoke to me. That like mystical fantasy where it's kind of dark. I really like that for Christmas. I like curling up by a fire. I don't own a fireplace, but like figuratively speaking, I like curling up by a fireplace and being under a blanket with my warm hot cocoa reading creepy reads. Like I would read House of Hollow right now if I could reread books. And that's kind of weird, and I feel like it's something that you probably would not expect from me, who doesn't even really like creepy reads. But I feel like my holiday life is already like happy and cheerful and romantic, and I don't want to read necessarily a bunch of contemporary holiday romances when I could just go out and like go on a sleigh ride myself and then come home and read about like creepy haunted mansions that I'll never go to. So it's like a nice contrast from my life. But anyways, so I picked this one because it gave me, like, it's not similar to House of Salt and Sorrows in the plot, but the vibes kind of gave me that same, the same vibes. And so this is an arc and I needed to get to it. So it was between that one or just rereading House of Salt and Sorrows. And I'm going to try and wait on that one and reread it a little bit later. So we're going to do that. I said it's an arc, but I'm very behind on arcs. So this is already out. And yes, that's all that I know about it. But the cover is so pretty, isn't it? Okay, the final one is a free book space. And so for this one, I have put book tour book. I am doing 2 book tours. No, I have 1 book tour that I'm in for sure, but I've been asked not to announce my involvement in the tour until the tour company posts the schedule themselves. So I'm not going to mention that one yet. And then the other option is a book tour that I have applied to, and it is pending, and I should find out hopefully by the end of this week if I got in or not. So hopefully, I don't want to not get into the book tour, but if I'm in both of them, then I will need to do a little bit of rearranging with this TBR. But yeah, so that will cover one of them. Okay, and then the next one is the final boss battle, which we don't know the prompt for that yet. So hopefully if I get into the second book tour, then I'll just use one of those open battle prompts. So that is it for the Clear Your Shirt Read-A-Thon, and if I can read all of that, I've passed, and I'm so excited. So the next one is the Reindeer Read-A-Thon, and this one has a lot of rules. Eric is like very strict when it comes to readathons, but I really enjoy that about him. This gave me the opportunity to fit a decent amount of books on my TBR, so you can not double up for any of the prompts, but there's like 3 bonus prompts that you can use to attach to your reindeer prompts. The first one is Dasher, and that is to read a short story or novella. So for this one, I will be reading Stranded by Sj Herman again. The next one is Dancer, and that is a book by your favorite author. I will be reading Our Violent Ends by Chloe Gong. There we go. It's so pretty. I am so excited to read this, and it clashes so bad with me because it's warm red and I'm very cool red right now. Book 1 is called These Violent Delights, and it is a Romeo and Juliet retelling set in the 1920s in China, and it is with the added addition of gangs and monsters. So I would say I would recommend this to almost anyone, except I have found a very small niche of people who are very scared of insects. If you hate creepy crawlies, I would say do not open this book. Just stop. Give up. Even I had to like stop at one point and take a shower. So yeah, just in case, heads up. But I'm very excited for that one. And the last one ended sort of not on a cliffhanger per se, but like in a very dramatic ending. And so I've heard this one is even worse. And yeah, you're not going to hear me talk about. Once I start reading that, I'm probably going to pause my other books. The next one is Prancer, to read a book with a travel element, such as a quest or a vacation or something like that. So for this one, I will be reading The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen. It's not in any library, like not even the digital database. So I was about to cave and buy the ebook on Amazon when I noticed that the ebook would cost $5 and a Black Friday deal for Kindle Unlimited was $5 for 4 months of Kindle Unlimited. So I will be reading The Bridge Kingdom on Kindle Unlimited. This one I am reading for the Atlantis Book Club, and I picked this one as the travel element because I believe the main character is one of many girls who, I don't know if they're all her sisters and they're all princesses, or if they're all just girls raised together. But regardless, she is the one who is chosen to travel to another kingdom, and she is supposed to marry the king or the prince, and I think it's enemies to lovers, and she's supposed to kill him. But I'm not 100% sure, but I'm very excited. And the next one is Vixen, a book that has caught your eye. So for this one, I will be reading Lakesedge because, as I already mentioned, the cover is stunning, and that is exactly why I first checked out the description. The next one is Comet, and that is to read a book that is a 5-star prediction. So last December, I read Olive Bright Pigeoneer, and I got this as an ARC from Bookish First. This is a historical fiction set in World War II. I can't remember what, in London, I believe. Yes. And so Olive wants to join the Royal Air Force, but she instead is stuck at home taking care of her ailing stepmother and doing like local town tasks that she thinks that she would rather not be doing. She'd rather join the Royal Air Force. And she is in charge of her father's not pigeon farm. Oh, it's been so long. It's been a year. So she is trying to get the National Pigeon Service to his pigeon loft. Yes, okay. So she's in charge of her father's pigeon loft, and they are trying to get their pigeons hired by the National Pigeon Service. So she is working on that. She's working on taking care of her stepmother. She's working on some tasks that her stepmother signed her up for in their very small town / village. And on top of all of that, there's also like some bonus stuff I can't talk about for spoilers. She also ends up trying to solve a murder in her town. It was wild, but I gave this book 4.5 stars. And the only reason that I actually gave it 4.5 stars is because I thought that it needed a sequel. And now there is a sequel, so I need to change this to 5 stars. I loved it. And the next one is called A Valiant Deceit. I know absolutely nothing about it, but I did get approved for an arc of it, and it comes out in January. So I'm very excited to read it, and hopefully I love it and can buy a copy to have on my bookshelf. It's kind of like enemies to lovers romance as well, sort of. And it was really good. It was so good. I love that book. The next one is Cupid, to read a new author. And so for this one, I have two options. So I will either be reading She Wouldn't Change a Thing by Sarah Adlakha, or if I have time, I will read Triad by Brittany Weisrock. And this was also an arc I received. I know that it involves a werewolf and maybe a human, or a werewolf and a werewolf from another rival pack. I hope it's the latter, but I feel like it's not. For Donner, it is to read a book with a red or green cover. So for that one, I will be reading The Handmaid's Tale. Then for the next one, it was Blitzen, which is to read a book by a random roll, a poll, a friend, or a pet choice of 3 books. So I let Caroline pick my book for this one, so I will be inputting the clip of Caroline picking from my options. You need to put 3 choices down and let someone pick them. And so, of course, in Ashley's Reads fashion, we will be letting Caroline pick my book. So the options are a buddy read with Noah. He'll probably pick Obsidio. Triad by Brittany Weisrock, which is an arc I desperately need to get to. And Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno-Garcia, which is a book club pick that I also really need to get to. So we will go get Caroline. Cut this out. Hey Caroline. Caroline, we need you for vlog content. Are you up for the challenge? Okay, Caroline. This is your moment. Come on. Okay. Alright, sit down. Sit. Okay, Caroline. This is for Reindeer Read-A-Thon. And for this prompt, Caroline, focus. For this prompt, I need you to pick a book for me. Yes. I'm going to take your cone off. Okay. Woo. Yes. Yes. She has a comb because she had surgery. But she, oh my goodness. Wait. Sit. Sit. Okay, Caroline. Pick my book. Ooh. Now that you're back, you can see that Caroline picked Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno-Garcia, and oh, here it is. So I will be reading this one. I just got it from the library. My librarian told her to tell me what I think of it, and apparently they, since September-ish, they have started an adult fiction and a young adult fiction book club, and she was telling me all about their picks. They did Legendborn and for the young adult one, and Lisa Jewell, a blue covered one, for the book clubs. And so I'm like, oh, now I might actually have to go to a physical book club. So very excited for this, and it was a great conversation. So excited to read this one. Oh, what is this about? I think that this woman goes to see her cousin or her sister. I actually have no idea what this book is about, so I've heard that it's creepy. I think it was listed as a horror book, so not sure. I'm reading that for the Enchanted book club pick, and that is a couple of months behind, but I'm always behind on book clubs. So Rudolph is to read a standalone book. I will be reading Love People, Use Things by the Minimalists. Okay, that's all. I didn't really mean to throw it that hard. Okay. The 3 bonus prompts are, so I rearranged my TBR and I did not rearrange my bonus prompts. So I need to read a book that's over 500 pages. So I'll figure that out later. And then I need to read a book that's an ebook, so that one is Stranded. And an audiobook will either be Mexican Gothic or Our Violent Ends, depending on what audiobook I can get from my library. That's it for the Reindeer Read-A-Thon. Finally, for the week-long read-a-thon, a blue or white cover to represent Hanukkah. And for this one, I will be reading Stranded. I don't have a picture of it right now because I will input it, but I think that it's blue. And then I will read a book which features a winter holiday. I will be reading Stranded because it takes place over Christmas. The next one is where someone else picks your book. I will be reading Stranded because Clear Your Shit Read-A-Thon picked my shortest book, which is Stranded. Then I will be reading a gifted book. So for this one, I picked Little Thieves by Margaret Owen, which is one of my most anticipated arcs that I have. It's already out though, so go read it please. Margaret Owen is hilarious. I love her on Twitter. She has a hilarious sense of humor, and I'm very excited to read this book. I have read an excerpt of it, and I have tried to read it for the past month or two, but it has always been pushed back because it's very low on my arc list in that I'm not very behind in it compared to the other ones that I need to get to, but my anticipation for it and it being Christmas, I owe it to myself to read this book. So here we go. And I actually can't tell you a lot about it except that it is a Goose Girl retelling, and that there is an orphan or a peasant girl who decides to, I believe it's like kind of like a Prince and the Pauper, where like an orphan or a peasant girl like takes the role of the princess, or like pretends to be a princess to like infiltrate the court. I could get that very wrong, but it sounded really cool, and I read the excerpt and I was already hooked. So very excited. I may be doing this as a buddy read with my friend Laura as well. We have like 5 buddy reads. It's a problem. For newest book on my TBR, I have Our Violent Ends because this is one of the most recent published books on my TBR. It counts. This also counts for the final prompt as well, which is #ownvoices, and I am so excited to read this, you guys. I will say my only problem is that this readathon does not start until the 12th, and I may start Little Thieves like tomorrow. So I will count that one unless I am past 50% by the 12th, in which point I will include any other arc because it was gifted. It's okay, it counts, it's fine. So those are all of my books. That adds up to 12. What am I missing? 2 miscellaneous books counted in those 12. So if I don't get into the book tour, I will try and read either Triad or Dark and Shallow Lies by Jenny Myers Sane. And for the final one, for book 12, I will try and read Rhapsodic by Lara Thalassa because it is on Kindle Unlimited, and I don't think I plan on renewing it full price, so I need to get that out of the way very quickly. And that is one of Becca's favorite books of 2020, and so I need to do that for that series. And it may also be a buddy read with Laura, and I do not know anything about that book except that I think it's fantasy. Maybe. That is all of the books that I am hoping to read in December. I am very, very excited. And I have, as I mentioned, a bunch of ideas for future video content and some readathons that I am already helping to co-host for next year. So I have a lot of fun announcements and content coming your way. Thank you so much for watching this video today. If you made it this far, please leave one of your favorite Christmas emojis. I'm very sad that Team Stocking does not have one, so the only one I could find was a sock emoji, like the blue socks. Please let me know what readathons you were taking part in December. I saw at least 3 other readathons that looked really fun for this month that I am trying to practice self-control and not join. I'm trying to limit myself to 3 readathons. So let me know which readathons that you're taking part in, and let me know what your most anticipated your most anticipated read is of December, whether it's a book that is coming out in December that you're looking forward to, or a book on your TBR list that you cannot wait to get to. For me, I would say top 3 Little Thieves and Our Violent Ends and A Valiant Deceit. I think I'm most excited to read those, so watch me not get to any of them. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you guys throughout the month of December. Bye y'all.